Conscious eating entails being aware of where your food comes from, how much you're consuming of certain things, but also allowing yourself to have some fun. So if you're in an environment with a lot of really great friends, it's okay to kind of have some fun with that. All right. How do I want to do this? All right, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. We're just gonna start over. So, got my breakfast here. I got some Yellow Bird hot sauce. This is the jalapeno hot sauce. This is my favorite sauce of all time. Got some pomegranate and blood orange. Rice with eggs, local spinach, and some salsa we got from the food drive. And tea. I also got an extra cup for you if you'd like. Yeah, so this week has been very, very interesting. There's been a lot going on lately, but I really would like to talk about something specific. So, as I mentioned previously, I practice something called TengDios, and so that requires me to actively participate in this lifestyle. That includes conscious eating, so this is what this is. Oh my goodness gracious, my cat just fell over. Conscious eating entails being aware of where your food comes from, how much you're consuming of certain things, but also allowing yourself to have some fun. So if you're in an environment with a lot of really great friends, it's okay to kind of have some fun with that. This morning I feel like I needed some extra nutrients, and I'm also kind of on a diet right now. I'm not really trying to lose weight or anything. I'm just trying to tone up and reset my palate because I was getting a little bit too many hankerings for sweets. And so this diet that I'm on is basically a metabolic and palate reset, but also is delicious. So I'm not too worried about it. So TengDios is such an interconnected way of living. It's including spirituality, creativity, social outreach, or like community outreach, and really just being the best self that you can possibly be, like really showing up for yourself. So it's important to be practicing these things in a way that feels safe, and regain control of your life. So this week has been particularly hard. Our apartment flooded, so we were out of heat and water for many days, and my cat died in the midst of it. We had a beautiful burial for her, so it was about time. She was 14 and had a very rapid decline all of a sudden. And I got some surgery on my ear from years of trying to figure out how to fix my ear because of the gunshot blast from the domestic violence that I experienced. Unfortunately, that surgery did not go well. Oh, Shiva, quit it. And so all of that has happened this week, and it's been really, really heavy stuff. And my sister moved in, which is really nice. It was a huge adjustment at the same time, hence all the clutter. But it's important to be trying to find balance amidst all of this stuff. And that can be really, really, really difficult, especially when you're dealing with other people's emotions in this space, and your own emotions. We as humans we have a really hard time kind of acclimating to new things and change, and this week has been a ton of change, but TengDios has been helping me stay grounded and reminding myself to eat properly so that way I can fuel myself properly. And right now we're in the middle of the annual Dead Roots coat drive that I've been doing. This is year 9. my sister's cat moved into, and my cat has not quite acclimated yet. But yeah, so the coat drive, we have been taking tons of donations down to the migrants in Denver. Clothes and water and whatnot. We just got a request for food, and we got a fantastic donation that we're going to be making some meals with and taking down to them as well. But in order for me to maintain my mental sanity and my physical well-being, in order to do all of these things, it's important for me to be checking in with myself on a regular basis. Utilizing the split circadian that I have is really helpful, because that's something I had to restructure my life around. I realized that I can't go all day without sleeping, because I'm like a morning person and a night owl, and that doesn't really work very well. So I have a split circadian, meaning that I go to bed fairly late, I wake up fairly early, and then I have a nap in the middle of the day to kind of accommodate for that lack of sleep at night. It works really, really well for me, but it's important for me to make sure that I have my schedule allowing me that rest in the middle of the day. And that takes some diligence and some discipline to make sure that I am allowing myself that space. And yeah, so all that being said, breakfast is a very important part of all of this. And whatever breakfast looks like for you. I know some people can't eat breakfast until later in the day, but I get really, really excited about breakfast. I can't eat it super, super early, but when I do have it, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Something else that's really interesting about TengDios is that every single way that people interact with TengDios is entirely personal, because of the life that they've led before and the life that they're trying to lead after. And not that TengDios is like a portion of your life, it's a lifestyle, it's the way that you exist, but going down a really, really strict, regimented plan in order to figure out what works well for your body and what works well for your environment and your, responsibilities that you have, kind of balancing all of these things in a way that really lets you shine is the most important part. So for me, food is really important, because I spent years battling anorexia and bulimia, and then it kind of challenged into orthorexia, which sometimes is kind of still an issue for me, but making sure that I get adequate protein and I'm eating what sounds good for me at the moment is really, really important. But there's other people that they really need to make sure that they are restructuring certain areas of their life. So for example, I had a client recently that has been dealing with a lot of gut and tummy problems. And while I was working with her, we were able to kind of evaluate her lifestyle and what things were working well and what things weren't working well. And we decided to do some muscle testing to figure out, like, okay, so food seems to be a really big trigger for this gut stuff, which you might be like, yeah, duh, but there are lots of other things that might be playing into gut health issues. So while we were doing the muscle testing, it was fascinating while we were discussing, because she realized that when we were doing the muscle testing, that each and every item that we were testing, she knew immediately whether it was going to be positive or negative for her body. And that was really profound, but it wasn't something that she had practiced before. And so part of this experience for her is going to be practicing these things and basically reiterating to herself, like, okay, this is where my health lies. These are the decisions I need to make in order for me to feel better. And one of those things was, I'm not a huge advocate for beef, but oddly enough, for her body, beef was really, really important for her and her physical well-being, while chicken, on the other hand, is quite detrimental to her mental health and her physical health. But these are the things that we don't really think about on a regular basis. We're just going about our day, we're going to work, we're going to do this, we're going to drive over here, blah, 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 and it's really hard to kind of fine-tune and realize, oh, it's 2 p.m., I'm super tired, I don't feel very good, I think I'm just going to get a coffee and keep it going. And then you're perpetuating the cycle of negativity and illness, really, in the body. And so taking these moments to really self-reflect and going down this program path is really, I don't want to be like life-changing, because like, thank you, big truck. But I mean, it is. I mean, for me, the reason that I ended up developing this entire program was because of my PTSD, and nothing else was working. That'll lead to a different episode sometime in the future. I'll kind of explain how I ended up developing this program, but food is just so valuable. And food is a very underrated medicine. I mean, for thousands and thousands of years, food is all that we had to treat our illnesses and our ailments. And now in the Western civilizations, we're like, oh, just take a pill. Just take this injection, you'll be fine. Or take this IV, or go on this diet, or whatever. And it's not taking into consideration the entire person and what their experiences may have been before, during, or after these pills, injections, or whatever. I'm not saying that Western medicine doesn't have its place, because God knows Western medicine has helped me on multiple occasions. But I still believe that a lot of the things that I have recovered from were mostly due to me changing my eating habits and making sure that I focus on getting adequate nutrients every chance that I get. So like, eating dark fruits is a huge part of my lifestyle choice, because these are so necessary for me. Also, my mom made me this adorable bowl. It says "Live Spicy" and has mushrooms on the other side. But anyway, I was a smoker for a really, really long time. I was smoking nicotine products and doing chew for almost 10 years. And so making sure that I have a lot of antioxidants in my diet is really important for me to fight off those free radicals, so that way I can hopefully reset all of my axons, get my collagen back in gear, and prevent the physical ailments of it, which are like wrinkles and dehydration, sunspots, or like darkening spots or whatever, but also making sure that I'm fighting the illnesses that I might have been putting into my body. And then eating locally, dark leafy veggies are a very similar thing to the dark fruits for me. But also making sure that I'm eating happy eggs. Only cage-free. I try to source local, but sometimes it's really hard, because, I mean, I'm not in a financial point to be buying cases of local eggs for $30. So sometimes I have to make do with, Whole Foods, or not Whole Foods, Natural Grocers, which does pretty good at locally sourcing all of their produce and dairy. But yeah, so it's just a conscious effort that you have to make to consider, what have I done to myself? Actually, you know, let's make this an activity. Consider, what things are weighing me down from past behaviors. Maybe write about that and think about it for a little bit. What food choices would help fuel healing from this past activity? And what lifestyle would I like to choose to continue with to fuel my future endeavors? These things are so important to think about, and we don't really get the opportunity to think about them very often. I had to make choices to stop eating and drinking certain things, so I don't drink soda, I don't drink caffeine. Green tea is, it's not coffee, so I have some caffeine, but I don't do black tea. And I don't do any liquid dairy products at all. And this is really important for me to make sure that I feel good, and I know that I'm treating my body well, and that I can keep moving this way for many years to come. Yeah. So I'm going to have the rest of my breakfast. If you want some more tea, it's right here for you. Yeah. That's all I have for today. I love you all. Live spicy. I'll see you on the other side. Bye. This is Shiva. She's my tortie and also my absolute baby. I love her so much. She is about just over a year old in this video. She will join us quite often. She loves to be cuddling and hanging out and seeing what I'm doing, whether it's yoga or drawing or writing or even dancing. Sometimes she'll just sit there and watch me dance. She's the best. Anyway, the yoga flow I have in store for you today is a very short one, but it comes with some intensity that will be great for opening up your lower back. You might even feel some release. It's also super wonderful for your abs. If you feel like doing this on a loop, you will definitely be feeling it. It's only a few poses, so stick with it. All right, coming down to tabletop pose. We're going to be bringing the belly button down to the ground, looking upward, extending the spine, and bringing the belly button up to the sky, curling the spine, looking down, making sure the eyes of the elbows are facing one another, shifting the weight back and forth, side to side. Play with these different motions to open up the hips. Leaning forward will open up the wrists, and leaning straight back, almost into child's pose, will open up the glutes. Play with these poses, curl the feet down, and shift up to downward facing dog, walking the dog out. Maybe focus more on bending each knee instead of straightening each knee to soften this pose, making sure that the eyes of the elbows are still facing one another. Chest is towards the ground, bringing your left knee up to the chest and shooting it back up to the sky for tripod or three-legged dog. Swooping the leg over to the outside of the left hand, go into a high lunge. Really extend the hips here, feeling that stretch. Take the right leg up, grabbing with the right hand, getting a nice quad stretch there. I take my left elbow to put it on my left knee to kind of intensify the stretch. Releasing, letting that foot go back to the ground. I shift my foot further back to intensify the stretch in my hip flexors and gently lean side to side to observe the different stretches I can receive from this pose. Remember to breathe. And curling the toes back under, swooping the left leg back up to the sky for tripod or three-legged dog, and back down to downward dog. Walking the dog out, finding balance here once again. And when you are ready, we're going to take that right leg up to the chest. Forward and up to tripod or three-legged dog, and rotate that leg going around to plant the foot on the outside of the right hand. I extend my stretch here to get a deeper stretch in my hip flexors in that high lunge, and then plant my knee down, bringing the left foot up and grabbing with the left hand, feeling that stretch, and bringing my right elbow to my right knee for extra balance and extra intensity of that quad stretch. See how much I can say stretch this yoga flow. Planting the hand back down to the ground, releasing the foot, planting the other hand down, up to high lunge, intensify the stretch, and back up to tripod or three-legged dog, return to downward facing dog. Walking it out, finding that balance, walking up for a forward fold that's not shown here. All right, decided to do some jump rope to get my cardio in. I've been running, but it is too cold outside here in Colorado right now in the mornings. It's been getting real nippy, so decided to switch it up, which is really important if you are going to be maintaining really balanced health. Shaking up your daily routine will allow you to find a new homeostasis. If you're doing the same thing every single day, your body will begin to plateau and you won't be seeing the results that you maybe once were. So shake it up. Have some fun with it. If you stay tuned for this part, you'll see a blooper that you might have seen at the beginning. Ooh, a little bit nerve-wracking, but luckily it was way more dramatic than it looked. Yep, there we go. I thought we had another couple seconds, but And the tripod is dead. Okay, here I am with an 8-pound medicine ball. I'm doing a variation of the Russian twist, which is an oblique workout, which are the muscles on the side of the rib cage. I am also allowing a little bit of extra reach here to activate the upper muscles, kind of making sure my ribs are tucked in. I don't have any signs of rib flare here. This helps with maintaining a very tight or snatched waistline. I'm working on regaining that. Being sure about what muscles you are activating is really important. I am being sure to lift with the core rather than opening the ribs and lifting with the spine. Doing so can cause a lot of damage, so being sure to observe each of the movements of your muscles and what feels good, what feels weird, and shifting the positions or focus as needed to be safe. You can't stay fit if you're not in your best health. Taking a little pause here. Next, I'm putting the ball between my legs. I am doing a sort of windshield wiper is what I always call it. I think there's another term for that. But what I'm doing is bringing my knees down to the ground, or almost, and then bringing my knees up to the chest in between. So it's almost a half circle I'm doing with my knees. This is a very, very careful pose because ab workouts are actually quite risky workouts to do. A lot of people just go for it without thinking about the muscles that they're activating. And if you're not paying attention, you can actually begin to tear apart the muscles in your lower abdomen. This can cause serious damage and may even require surgery to repair. So taking your time, knowing your limits, and being patient with yourself as you progress in your fitness journey will keep you in your best shape for a long time. Next, I'm doing a little bit of a rotation here, like an intestinal massage. There's another term for it. I can't remember at this very moment, but when I find it, I'll find it at some point. This just feels really good. It helps me open up my spine as well. I have a lot of chronic pain in my lower back and my hips, so this is super nice. And I shift into a meditation. And that is about all I've got for you today. Feel free to join me on this as many times as you would like, and leave questions, curiosities, or maybe things you'd like to see in the future in the comments below. I'm really excited to have had you here with me today. It means a lot, and I hope you go do something you are very proud of. Take care of yourself, be kind, learn and practice compassion, and that's about all I got for you. You have a wonderful day. Live spicy. I'll see you on the other side.